I need to show you a couple of things. And the first is a reminder of what we already talked about in a different segment, which is a moment from a Trump interview that should be front page, horrifying the world type stuff. I don't know if it is, but it's terrible. And then one of Trump's advisors being told that Trump had said this and trying to answer for it. And when I watch these Trump folks squirm in defending things he said, giving up any dedication to principle, I feel bad for us that these are people who are about to be very powerful. I feel bad for those that the Trump administration are going to want to target. I feel bad for the marginalized groups who are going to be harmed. But I feel bad in this weird way for the person choosing to embarrass themselves on behalf of Trump. Is that wrong? I think it's wrong. I don't think I should feel bad for that. But first, as a reminder, just again to set the story up, you have Trump in the interview with Meet the Press, Kristen Welker, saying this about former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who was a part of the January 6th Select Committee. So she helped to investigate in Congress before she left Congress or was defeated because she dared to speak out against Trump. So the Republican electorate went rah, and defeated her. She helped to investigate the lead up to January 6th, Trump's attempts to block the peaceful transfer of power, and all related to that. And Trump's very angry about it because he believes you should have loyalty to him instead of to the Constitution. While you watch this, please click the subscribe button.
And Cheney was behind it. Well, and so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee. For what they did, honestly, they should go to jail.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee, you think
I think everybody anybody that voted in favor.
Are you going to direct your FBI director and your attorney general to send them to jail?
No, not at all. I think that they'll have to look at that, but I'm going to focus on drill, baby, drill.
When Joe Biden says, America, there is an ideology. I will define it as the MAGA Republican ideology. That is not all Republicans. That is not all Republicans. That is not all Republicans, but it's some of them. And it is destructive to our democracy because it says elections are only fair when you win. And MAGA's reaction is, he said all Republicans need to be put in jail. But then have no issue with Trump literally saying, let's put the people I don't like in jail. Now, I'll explain what MAGA would say is the justification for such rhetoric. There is no justification, but I'll say what they think that it is in just a second. But then his advisor, now being notified of this bomb that Trump dropped as he attempts to induce terror among his political opponents, has to respond. He does. This reminds me of J.D. Vance explaining how he would have tried to if he were vice president back when Trump had lost the election but was trying to stay in power illegally. And Vance would go, I would have accepted the alternative electors in the interest of elections to credit. Wait, you would have stolen the election? That's what you're saying? Like he would word in this nice, flowery, fluffy language, something that was totally crazy. And that's what Jason Miller, one of Trump's top advisors, tries here.
Look, Liz Cheney is someone who lost her primary, who got bounced out by a very good Republican who's been bitter and attacking President Trump ever since. I think Liz Cheney, quite frankly, for what she did, I have my own personal opinions about Liz Cheney, but what President Trump said, if you listen to the entire Meet the Press interview, is he wants everyone who he puts into key positions of leadership, again, whether that's Pam Bondi as the AG, Kash Patel at FBI, or anybody else, to apply the law equally to everybody. Now, that means if you're somebody who's committed some very serious crimes, who's committed very serious felonies, who's, for example, leaked confidential information in direct violation of laws that are in place, well, then obviously that sets you up for different things. But as far as the politics aspect, if you listen to the entire interview with President Trump, he said he's going to leave that up to the law enforcement agents in charge, including Pam Bondi and Kash Patel.
But the things you mentioned so far, there has been no evidence of criminal wrongdoing.
So that's his best attempt at making sound rational, which is a big job of anyone who will go on TV and defend Trump. Take Trump's words, put her in jail, And he goes, I'm not going to say that my law enforcement administration officials should go after them, but I think they should look into the, was his argument? All right. And put that through the translator machine, and it spits out, I just think that Trump makes very clear that at the end of the day, frankly, by the way, I'm so glad to be on here. Thank you for having me. At the end of the day, the law should be applied equally and everyone should be treated fairly. Okay, I think that's what he meant. No, it's not what he meant, Jason. Before going on to that a little bit further, what on earth did he say at the beginning when he asserts the reason former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, former third, if I'm not mistaken, third most powerful person in the House of Representatives in the Republican Party. The reason she speaks out against Trump is because she's bitter that she lost her election in Wyoming. MAGA has always been interesting with their timelines, but if I am to believe him correctly, Liz Cheney spoke out against Trump, which caused her to lose her election, which caused her to initially speak out against Trump. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Time doesn't do that, does it? No. She was in the good graces of MAGA. She easily won her previous election 2 years before. Then she went, hey, I love this whole Republican Party thing. I don't know why I did that accent whenever I said that, but I don't think we should say, let's overthrow elections whenever we lose. And so then she lost her election. So how could her bitterness be the cause of her losing or of her speaking out against Trump when it was her speaking out against Trump that would have caused the loss in the election? So that didn't make any sense. But to go back to his argument, another clip of Kash Patel talking about his excitement of targeting these political opponents. Again, they try to make the language sound a little softer, but when you understand the lack of any evidence of Liz Cheney's wrongdoing, just randomly saying because she dared to investigate me, she should be put in jail, you get what they're saying here. We've already talked about a few times the Kash Patel clip of him with Steve Bannon going, yeah, we're coming for the media, woo-wee. And now you also have this recently unearthed one.
Cassidy Hutchinson, in my opinion, lied under oath. KG, that's a federal offense.
Right.
Plain and simple. And if someone assisted her in that process, i.e. members of the committee with a lucrative book deal to publish her lies, they're in on it. And more to the point, members.
Oh, by the way, you're thinking, Luke, Kash Patel, if you just tune into politics, you might think, who is Kash Patel? Why are you showing me this clip with Kimberly Guilfoyle on the podcast of the year, the Kimberly Guilfoyle show? Why are you bringing that up? Oh, because this is who Trump wants to be his FBI director.
Congress aren't shielded from criminal acts of destroying evidence. That's a federal crime. So why Congress hasn't subpoenaed Liz Cheney and Cassidy Hutchinson yesterday to appear before the American public, I don't really understand, but they got some work to do.
Right. Why aren't they in some federal prison, okay, for the crimes that they committed? I mean, seriously, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Subpoena the witnesses, the people that participate in this, and put them on blast in front of the world to see. But while they're doing that, they got to go get every document that was buried. They got to go find out which memorandums were destroyed.
Well, who's going to do this, though?
I don't. Well, yeah, you're going to Congress. I forgot.
Oh, no. Got enough to deal with. Yeah, I would do it if I were there.
You know this, though. You were a great prosecutor. It's not that hard. You subpoena every member of this committee and every single staffer, and you get their emails, their phone calls, their text messages, and then you put that out for the American public to see. And look, we'll leaf through that, when Donald Trump wins to see if there's any righteous prosecutions. But at least this way, we got the truth out there. And I don't know why Congress won't subpoena every single person on.
So now we get to, you heard him say it, which was if Trump, just like when he made up some story, not made up, but he responded to some story about Mark Milley warning other countries that, stay calm when Trump was going crazy as he's leaving office. We're going to do everything here to keep relations stable, right? And Trump said, oh, that's treason. In times gone by, Mark Milley would have been executed. His words. His former top general. former chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, executed. But it's bad to say that's fascistic. That's the bad part. Saying he should be executed, not bad. Saying that that's fascistic, using the term fascism to describe such rhetoric, that's the bad part, according to Piers Morgan and a bunch of other people who keep telling me that. But similar to that, the only reason that Trump has to come up with a justification to jail them is because I guess he thinks some people in his movement would care, which apparently not many do. But he then comes up with, in the case of Mark Milley, it was because he was doing treason. And then in the case of Liz Cheney, who he's just mad at for exposing him for being such an anti-democratic, I won't say the fascist word, person. And so then he has to come up with this. A factcheck.org piece has been written on this. Meme rehashes old false claim. And this is referring to just the latest example of this spreading around. The January 6th committee destroyed evidence. Quick take. The House committee that investigated the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021 issued a more than 800-page report presenting and analyzing the evidence about what happened that day. It also released videos, transcribed interviews, depositions, and other documents. But some high-profile conservatives are now making the false claim that the committee destroyed, quote, all the evidence. So that's what they've been arguing. They believe that somewhere lost in the process, some evidence that wasn't properly documented, that the January 6th committee obtained. Imagine this. They released, I'm pretty sure it's like the 800-page report, of course, but just unbelievable amounts of evidence publicly that you can go access. Just all this stuff. Imagine all that's there, but they somehow stumbled across the one piece of paper, shred it. That one piece of paper disproved everything that we saw publicly, everything that people around Trump testified to, and everything that aligns with every single report ever that we've seen about Trump and his attempts to block people's transfer of power. That little piece of paper, apparently, they shredded, except for they didn't, because there's no evidence that they did that. But that's the argument as to why Liz Cheney should be put in jail. It's ridiculous. I say again, don't be surprised when you go, well, there must be something honest about what they're saying. Every time in history, always, and this will always be the case, that someone does bad things, they say it's because they're trying to do good things, okay? Or, put differently, every time an authoritarian goes authoritarian, they don't say, it's time to go authoritarian, right? They say, often, I am the warrior for democracy, which Trump was saying. They're the threats to democracy. But it's not us just going, hey, without evidence, we think that our political opponent should be in jail. And that's why they have to say that's what's happened to Trump, so then Trump can justify doing that to other people. So the point is, as I'm getting really riled up about this, Jason Miller didn't help to explain, no matter how flowery he words it, the scary moment that was that Trump interview moment. And to the people who seem more triggered, who seem more upset, more rattled by the calling out of the bad behavior and not the bad behavior itself, what's wrong with you, I guess? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Support the show. Get the members only bonus show by clicking that join button below.